You're listening to the Desert Moon Hockey Podcast with Matt and Rich.
Happy Howlidays, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Sure.
Yeah.
Anything. Look, I only celebrate Christmas because my wife does.
Happy episode 40 of the Desert Moon Hockey Podcast. Yeah. Or Coyotes great Alex Tanguay, who played all of 11 games.
Nope. He's not part of the Coyotes history. Don't care. Didn't ask. All right. Let's just. If they played the number of games that they would be considered a draft bust if that was their NHL career, they don't count. And he played 11 games for the Coyotes. Would have been a draft bust if he was drafted by us. So no.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was a trade for cap, and then he proceeded to retire after that season, which was really funny because he went out on a high note. I think he had 11 points in 15 games or something like that. It was really good.
Yes, it really sucks. We'll never know what would have happened with that boy if he would have played here longer. You know, if he would have got.
We could say the same thing about
27.
We could say the same about the other number 40 that you were just talking about, Michael Grabner, who looked like
Krabs was really good the entire time he was here as a solid middle six forward.
I mean, he looked really good, but I was just saying in reference to the eye injury, right? What happens if that eye injury doesn't
this is
happen.
Christmas. This is the Christmas episode, and Richie's over here talking about, hey, what
eye
about his
injuries.
eye, bud? Look at his eye.
Yeah.
I bet you can't see me anymore, bud. Damn it, Richie.
No, that's not what I meant. So, on today's episode, I want to just jump right into what I'm currently wearing, which is the Coyotes Reverse Retro 2.0 with the Gila River Arena advertisement sitting right on the right chest plate.
God, you are such a simp.
I gotta say, the quality of the jersey is great. I really like it. It took forever to come in, but these incredible times, you can't really blame people on how long logistics takes because you don't really truly know. Is it the Coyotes' end? Is it Harbor's end? Is it, whatever's end? Who is at fault? So
Richie,
I'm not going to complain too much about that.
I got mine within 3 days. And
I
ordered mine literally a month and a half after you did.
Yeah, but they could be coming from different locations, my guy. Okay? Different ports, different locations.
You just admit you're trying to cope with how you got ripped off.
No, the NHL does their business in the eastern side of the United States. You never know. It could have came from that port and came all the way across the country to you via that shipping lane. And so you never know. But what I will say is I did have some problems with mine, and which is really disappointing and sad. So I got mine, and I got the right size on mine. And the one behind me, if you can barely see it, I know audio listeners, you won't be able to see it too much. The one behind me, sitting on that hanger right there. Actually, if I go this way, it's probably better. There we go.
Yeah, it was a lot better.
Yeah, that one's my wife's. My wife is a very small woman. We got her the smallest size possible, which I think is 44. I don't remember. Yeah, and instead they sent us the largest size possible, which is a 60. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Yeah, that's a bit of a noofs. And the best part is my wife, within minutes of receiving our package, immediately sent out an email, got an automated response, from them instantly within a few days saying, we have received your email. We'll reach out to you, in X amount of time. And then a few days later, we get a message. We are extremely backed up with emails right now. We will reach out to you in a later date. So,
I wonder why.
Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you got your jerseys because some of us got the wrong ones. And then I do have some criticisms as well of the actually specifically the ad itself. So while the material of the jersey looks good, the ad, for our video listeners, if you're listening to us audibly, make sure to go and check us out on YouTube at Desert Moon Hockey. But the ad, you can see, is a different color than the orange. And then if you look at the ad that's on the real jerseys in game, It's the same color as the backdrop, and then it's white. So the ad does not look very good. I was expecting to get an ad like the jerseys in the game, and I wouldn't have complained all that much, but the ad that we got was a different shade of orange. It's like a different burnt orange color. Yeah, so that's a little disappointing.
Just saying. If you would have just done what the AZ Sports guy said to kids.
Hey, AZ Sports guy, how's your purple jersey coming along, huh? What happens
Those
if?
Look really nice. Those
yeah,
look
the
really
purple.
nice for
Yeah,
I didn't pay
except
full
you.
price for.
Except you can't find them anywhere because you waited and you lost out on that opportunity. I don't know how quickly these things were going to sell. Were they going to sell in a couple of days? Were they going to sell in a couple of months? I don't know. That's
remember they even said they were going to have more. They were going to have
sure,
more
and
than RR 1.0. And
so
1.0
what? That
only
doesn't
sold out so quickly because there was such limited quantity.
Yes,
and things were getting shut down left and right because of the good old virus.
Yeah, and you know what? That doesn't mean that they're not going to sell out just as fast. You don't know that. You know, there could be more people wanting them. So
would you like me to actually like explain the multiple reasons why I did know they weren't going to sell out as fast? All right.
Sure, go for it.
So when the 1.0s came out, all right, you were right there, right at the beginning of the pandemic. A lot of people in the range when these were being sold were either they were getting ready to get stimuluses, or they were, just they had a little more money because it was before the pandemic really hit fully. So it's like, oh hey, I already have money I was good. I'm good.
They had savings. Mm-hmm.
So right there, very limited supply. Let's say if there is a 10,000 demand, just to use the Coyotes as an example, a 10,000 demand, they made like 7,500, and that is just example numbers. Obviously, that is not the exact. All right, but there's a lot of differences between the market then and now. All right, just look at the AHL attendance going down. Just look at a lot of things in this recession we are in. Sales going down.
Man, you're hitting all the buzzwords to make sure that the YouTube algorithm keeps us.
Yes, sir. and especially the fact that these jerseys, they went up. I want to say they were 180 before the virus in 2020, and then it's 190, and then depending on like some places when you got it, they were 200. The Stadium Series from like a year or two ago were like $200 jerseys. It's literally everything keeps going up in price, and people aren't even buying underwear and socks right now because the economy's going down. Therefore, when you have them actually able to meet the market demand, and a lot of the market is like, I can't afford that, or it's not worth it right now, or I have to wait for Christmas or whatever, you're going to have much more stock. It was a much more safe bet. And also the difference between me now and me in 2020 is me in 2020, I was very hyper-focused on like a lot of gaming stuff and trying to rebuild a gaming collection. I didn't even think about the reverse retro until my birthday. So right around I think a couple weeks after my wedding, so my mom gave us a wedding present, so like a gift card. So I just went to the mall and got that reverse retro that was sitting up there on the wall. It was so long after the fact that if I would have done the exact same thing, exact same position, exact same money, and I would have been looking around mid to late November, I would have probably managed to get one for a markup that wasn't that bad. Where now, I literally got it cheaper than everyone else did, and I waited and got mine first, and mine doesn't have an ad, and I can be snotty and snooty, because the amount of people that are trying to contact for, like, refunds, because they very quickly took away that little warning of the jersey ads on their sites, and then a bunch of people want to, my own, like, personal, have reports of people that bought them, didn't know there was going to be ads on them, and are trying to return them. That's also leading to it backing up holiday season in general, more orders in general, and they're also messing up orders, and they're taking a month and a half, 2 months, almost 3 months to get there. Come on, boys.
Yeah.
I get it. You do, because you're very, very good with your finances. You have the ability to take those risks that I either don't have the ability or don't want to, because I'm like, I can go buy Digimon cards or something else that I'm interested in that week. But, like you don't have to justify your purchase, buddy. Like, that if you feel you got fair market or you didn't want to miss out, it's fine. But just admit, the poor idiot that lives way off with the poor people in the West Valley got a better deal and a better product.
Yeah, for sure. I don't disagree with that. Obviously, my purchase had to do with FOMO, 100%, which is fear of missing
100%.
out. So I 100% will take the L on that. But I'm just saying, you know, it's not as bad as I was expecting. This is also just, I'm pretty sure, glue. It's not even embroidered. So
it's heat press, isn't it?
Yeah. So somebody could take this off really easily if I wanted to, which I might. I don't know. I'll think about it. First, I want to get my wife's before anything because, that one pissed me off a little. You know, this was our Christmas present, and we bought these, you know, a month or two ago, and we're like, okay, they should come in before Christmas. They came in like 3 days before Christmas. At least they got in, but you know, 50% accurate, which is a little disappointing. One other thing, too, that I got was at the Mullett Arena. They were handing these out at the door as you were walking out. Little Coyotes ornament for a Christmas tree. Or, I'm sorry, was it the for Hanukkah? What is is it?
Is it a menorah? And
is it menorah?
They don't hang things on it. It's just,
okay.
It's a giant candle that you burn.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was just thinking.
Each night.
Yeah, I was just thinking you could hang it on it if you're wanting to.
Masochist, maybe, if you want to take the risk of burning your house down.
Yeah, you just like hang down below.
I tried to get them to give me one of those on the way out. I was like, all sarcastic. Oh, you know, I'll go ahead and take one. It's just because I don't wear like my work shirt a lot of the time, so it's like that Coyotes jacket above because I have an excuse to wear Coyote stuff. So I'm like, I'm getting ready to leave the game. Go ahead and hand me one. I didn't get one, but I will say
I have a spare if you want one.
I like my ornament a little better. I got a little Todd ornament. My wife got for me.
That's really cute.
So now Todd can sit right here. Although I was memeing on it a little bit because I think they messed up the face a bit. So I'm like, what did you do to my boy? You massacred my boy.
You just got to be careful. That's the shoulder danger zone right there. We've already seen one too many things take a spill off that
What is it? I have no idea if my camera will show it, but the amount of different spots that this has been glued, re-glued.
Yeah, so for the audio listeners, he has a Shane Doan bobblehead, and that thing has been in many pieces multiple times. He also had a locker fall live on podcast one time. The little lockers that they were handing out.
Either. I have to find another Shane Doan locker.
Yeah. So all of his knickknacks get destroyed at one point in time off that shelf. So he's got to be extra careful.
I'll just be in these little not like I don't know the best way to say it. So I'll just say mood, even though it's not an actual mood. But I'll be so clumsy and just not paying attention. So I think it's the third time that's happened. So once I came out, I reached my arm in the door for. I was trying to turn the light off. I don't know why I was reaching it right here. It's so far away. It makes no sense. And then I knocked something over and broke it. This one, I turned around and it was my buns of steel.
You booty checked it. But I had one yesterday that made me a little upsetty spaghetti. There was a candle on a countertop, and my wife had put a towel on top of the candle, and I went to go pull the towel off the countertop, and it just pulled the candle with it, and it was like a Bath and Body Works like candle, so it was all glass, and it just right onto the ground. I'm like, cool. That was
the exact same thing. Cool.
Yeah.
It was like last week or a week and a half ago. I walk in the room, and I was just like feeling energetic. I was just kind of running around the house and being an idiot, messing with the dogs. I come in, I point my hand in, and I immediately smack it down. My wife's just pissed, like, really?
Yeah.
I regret nothing. Look, she gets most of those for free or half price anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. If you live in Arizona, if you're looking for Bath and Body Works stuff, don't go during the time because it's holiday season right now. But when there's like a slow period, Mills Mall is a clearance outlet for Bath and Body Works stuff. I get like $6 candles. That's where I go. I always get my stuff cheap. I'm not buying full price for that stuff. So
hockey jerseys, he could do it. A PC, he's probably getting a 40-90 as soon as it comes out. But
No,
you want
actually,
you want a $20 candle?
yeah, no, I actually am good for my PC. I've got the fat upgrades, so I'm good for like 4 or 5 years. So I'm not doing any more upgrading to that thing.
I'm just waiting for tax time so I can go ahead and finally replace this little work PC. And the problem is, I'm going to say it's for productivity here. In reality, it's going to function as a secondary gaming PC. And I'm just going to sit here and game and not make content anymore. And everyone's going to look at me like, hey, whatever happened to the AZ Sports guy fellow? And I'm going to be like, I was playing The Witcher.
Yeah, that'll do it. Witcher's that's a damn fun game. I 100% that game, and it took me a very, very long time to do so.
You know what games I always get like just sucked into, and I'm so happy I got into it again. Like I think a week ago, Fallout 3. New Vegas is better. I love New Vegas, but like those two games, Fallout 3 and New Vegas. If I never was allowed to play another video game and I was just those two, I would be happy because
there's like
there's
like secrets that you still find in those games that you revisit. You're just like, what? I missed this.
Like, oh, I was following the little ticker that will take me from A to B when I was doing the main quest. Okay, second playthrough. I'm just gonna start wandering around. Okay, now this quest takes me over here. Well, let's go explore this area first. I mean, this quest doesn't need to get done in the next 10 minutes. I'll be good. And then you find the little comic shop, and then apparently when I go back to wherever the Mechanist and Antagonizer are, I can have a separate, like, alternate way to complete the quest. Because I was reading a letter to the editor, which is that is one of the nothing takes you over there. Like I had to go out of my way. I think I killed Roy Phillips because at the end of the day, it's 3 ghouls versus an entire tower of people that are mostly ignorant that will be persuaded to let them in. So it's like a bunch of people dying versus 3 ghouls dying. I can rationalize that even with the bad karma. But I'm rolling around, going from here to there to there. Doing like the Rivet City stuff, and like I just tucked my way in there. I'm like, dude, I would have never gone here before. There's no reason for me to be here otherwise. Nothing takes me over here.
Yep. All right, to get us back onto the train here, because I'm sure everybody's going to be clicking off like, video games. Let's get back to the Coyotes. Yeah, let's get back to the Coyotes talk. So, between last week and this week's episode, we had a game on Monday against the Montreal Canadiens, lost in overtime in that game. Wednesday, we lost 5-2 to Vegas. I'm pretty sure that's a game where we kept it pretty close. I think they had 2 empty net goals, if my memory serves me. 2
empty net goals, and at one point it was 3-2.
Oh, yeah.
It was 1-1 going into the third. Vegas gets a couple. Fish cuts it in half. And then they just kind of the bottom.
That reminds me.
Like, that's what it is.
That was the game where Clayton Keller had probably one of the worst periods I've ever seen from him in that third period, where he draws a penalty. He got elbowed in the face, had to get cleaned up, comes back, PO'd that he got elbowed, takes 2 penalties, consistently was like turning over the puck, and then on their power play when it was 3-2, he throws a like really bad pass, or no, it was 2-2 maybe. Or maybe it was 3-1. I don't remember. He throws a real.
Goes back the other way.
Yeah, it was like 2-1. Yeah, it was 2-1, and then they were on the power play to tie it back up, and he throws a really bad pass, and Mark Stone just says thank you very much, and goes on to the breakaway and scores to make it 3-2.
You say that was him having a bad period. I say he finally watched some Connor Bedard footage and realized we have no business being in this game. We're not in the Mullett Arena. We don't need to be in this game. And, and exited stage left. And,
that's true.
Against Montreal, I'm like, yo, why don't you just give up a goal for... Like, my exact thing, I was going on like a rant. I'm like, dude, just like pull Vejmelka and pretend you called a timeout after the puck drops. Because like it was just a miscommunication. Let him score. You don't get the extra point. Like I think the fans will understand. It'll be a nice little meme for a little bit, and then when we get Connor Bedard, the Canadiens fans can say Slavkovsky's better, and we can have that debate.
That's definitely not going to be true, by the way. The way
But
Bedard's looking.
You know that with how
I know
Montreal
what you mean.
fans want #1 overall, if the Coyotes get it, Slavkovsky's better than Bedard anyway.
The
Bedard's
Coyotes!
short, or Bedard is going to be fragile, or Bedard's the next Peter Mueller or something. They will go look at our top picks throughout the last 20 years. They'll find a couple. Bedard, you're more like Dylan Strome 2.0.
My favorite, which will happen if they do pick first overall, which is the Coyotes don't deserve the first overall pick. Look where they play.
Texas.
How dare they take that talent and waste it? Even though, how many cups does Connor McDavid have? How many cups? The best player probably I've ever seen in my lifetime. Maybe one of the top 5 best players we've ever seen in the NHL. How many cups does he have? How old is he?
But I don't think I haven't heard anyone else say this, but I guarantee it has been said before. But what if we're having these same conversations and then he hits his early 30s and finally wins a cup with Edmonton?
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I would be so glad. Connor McDavid absolutely deserves a cup. And Edmonton's even though how much we back and forth those fans, Edmonton's a good city. When you talk about actual supporting their fan base and loyal and deserving of a cup, yeah, they do deserve a cup. But, this is what happens when you have Peter Chiarelli at your helm for however many years, and he pissed away everything.
You know what? Speaking of the Edmonton Oilers, which first off, their fans don't deserve a cup. That city doesn't deserve a cup. It's a nice city, but they've literally been living in the 80s for the past, 3 decades. Because that's the last time they were relevant. Let's not pretend that city actually deserves a cup. McDavid deserves a cup. Leon Draisaitl deserves a cup. All right, a couple of players in that team, and they can go anywhere else to win their cup. But I want to talk about this. So we love Twitter. All right, we love Twitter because it's brain dead. Hockey Twitter is literally my favorite place because the amount of asinine stuff that I can turn into a topic on my podcast. Honestly, the amount of time I put on Twitter, I might be able to write off as a business expense at some point with how integral hockey Twitter's been. So, Jacob Chychrun.
Jacob Chychrun. Oh, wait, before we get into Jacob Chychrun, hold on. Let me just say, the other score that we missed, before we get off the topic.
2-1 shootout victory against the LA Kings.
Yeah, on Friday, 2-1 victory against the battle of the reverse retros, the LA Kings reverse retro versus the Coyotes reverse retro. It looks great.
I hate the Kings. I hate the Kings, hate their logo, hate their jerseys. I prefer the 2000s crown. That one's fine. But that jersey was god tier. That logo matchup on the scoreboard, that just, I had to take a picture. I was sitting in the tunnel. I had to take a picture. I'm like, dude, that is too good of a logo match. Jesus, that is.
That was
the Kings.
Just in the looks of aesthetics, that was a pretty game. When you're talking jersey for jersey, you had the orange versus the purple. The contrast just looked so good.
It did.
Yeah, that was a good game. There was a 5-on-3 that Keller scored. Schmaltz scored.
Schmaltz.
A beautiful pass from Keller. And then it was a shootout victory where Bukestad scored with a really sick move, and that was kind of really it. It was a pretty slow game. There wasn't a lot going for it, aside from not tanking for Bedard.
Yeah, exactly. And it's look, obviously, of course, I'm going to be happy when they win, but I also know I am also my own worst enemy when it comes to. Look, this team needs to be worse than they were last year for Bedard, and they just quite frankly aren't. So, I will say it one more time. I will say it every single time this comes up. Coyotes fans, if you claim... I'll say it differently this time. If you claim to want Bedard, if you claim to actually want this tank to be successful, you need to shut the hell up about your love for Veggie and demand he's traded out of town. With how unstoppable he is in the mullet. He has not gone down in regulation in the mullet. Yep. Are you kidding me? Look, I love you, Karel Vejmelka. I wish you would have been the goalie, all right, instead of Antti Raanta. I obviously, different point in his development, he wouldn't have been the same goalie, but I wish he was that same goalie that point.
Yeah.
Last core would have been better. But, wrong place, wrong time. All right, you've
Yep.
increased that value. That's easily a first-round pick, depending on where you're going, depending on what role they need. Maybe with a couple little extras, nothing much, but at least a first-round pick. All right,
Yep.
Get the hell out of town, because for whatever reason, you look at Connor Bedard and you're like, I want to make sure he goes nowhere near this entire hemisphere.
Yep. All right. Actually, before I pull us back into the Jacob Chikrin talk about I'm assuming the Oilers,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to say that if you have listened up to this point, please give us a like, a follow, a subscription on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And if you are listening to us audibly, make sure to check us out on YouTube, where we have the visuals of this podcast. I don't know why you want to see two fat, sweaty guys sit in their dungeons all day with their rolls hanging out, talking, but you can do that, absolutely. So make sure to check us out at Desert Moon Hockey Podcast on YouTube. But let's move into it.
I'm just glad you didn't call out my degenerate card game art taste. Anyway, so
I can call it the degenerate popsicle eating that you were doing before this podcast.
I had 5 SpongeBob popsicles. I wanted some last night at the gas station on the way home from work. Their doors were closed 3 minutes before midnight. I don't get it. There was just the employee and some random chicken there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to ask questions. I'm turning around and going home. So I had $20. That's for gas. Gas has gone down so much, I over budget. It's fine. The $20 is acceptable. And we went to AM/PM today, and my wife went in the store, and she came out with 8 of them. I have eaten 5 so far, and I regret nothing. All right, it's Christmas. It's Merry Christmas. Let me have my fun. Anyway, Jacob Chikrin.
Jacob Chikrin.
I actually saw him after the game, by the way. Didn't get to talk to him because I'm the help. You're not supposed to engage with the stars, but there you go.
Yeah.
Seems to be in pretty good spirits. Hopefully that means that trade is coming very, very soon. But some Oilers fans are talking, and I believe the paraphrase, it might be the exact quote, but paraphrase just so I can cover my butt legally and be the lawyer type I know I can be, is Jacob Chikrin is an offensive defenseman, and he's not even that good at it. And the only response I had was Jacob Chikrin is a 200-foot defenseman who has 13 points in 16 games. For fan bases, and the Canadian fan bases are very consistent on this. The only inconsistencies have been some of the Jets fans, because I found some pretty cool Jets fans. But pretty consistently, if you're a Canadian fan, general rule, you think Arizona fans don't know anything about hockey. All right?
Yep.
So imagine the irony of saying something as ignorant as Jacob Chikrin is an offensive defenseman. First off, he's not. He's a two-way defenseman. He is also one of the best defensive players on this team. Yep. He has literally been that good. All the advanced metrics are also lined up. I don't understand those little charts that Jay Fresh puts out, but I sure can see when the numbers go up.
When the stonks go up, I'm winning.
The stonks go up, and I can read color codes. That's about it. But
I like it when it's blue. I like the blue color, the dark blue color.
Blue's looking pretty good. Sonk is blue. Anyway, so 13 points in 16 games. I don't know how you can claim to know hockey, and you're going to say something as ignorant as you're not even a good offensive defenseman when you're almost a point per game. I would get it, even to an extent if it's 20 games and you have between 10 and 12 points. I could almost see that if you're comparing that to the value that the trade is going to demand. Yep. He has been literally everything as advertised this year, and I really want that trade to get done so there's no anxiety or opportunity for, let's say, damaged goods to become more damaged, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, here's the even more crazy part. So this is the other thing that people don't realize, where those points came from. That's not 13 points of just ragging it on the power play and getting some free points. He has 13 points, and only 2 of which have been on the power play. The 11 points in 16 games has been 5-on-5 hockey. That's hard to do as a defenseman. That's really hard to do as a defenseman, and he's doing it. And on top of that, he's been respectable in his defensive zone, and you can just do the eye test. You don't even have to look at the fancy charts. You can just do the eye test. He's been shutting people down. And that's because he's a two-way defenseman. Like Matt's saying, he's not an offensive defenseman. He's not going to be an Erik Karlsson. He's a dominant two-way defenseman. And that's exactly how he's playing.
And if I've ever said he's an offensive defenseman, then clearly I was not using the appropriate terminology. Because, yes, obviously with the numbers being as it is, you can just use him as an offensive defenseman. You can do that. But if you also need a defensive defenseman, Chychrun can also fill in every single aspect that you need and then just give you your little depth scoring if that's all you need him for.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't understand it. I had to bring that up because I thought it was funny, just straight up, because how, again, can you claim to know hockey? How can you rag on a fan base for not knowing anything, yet you claim Jakob Chychrun is an offensive defenseman that isn't even good at that? And even if they were all power plays, you're telling me that wouldn't mean that he is one of the driving factors of this power play being as good as it is on a team that everyone outside of this town said was going to be the last place finishing team in the league. I said it from the start, they weren't. I said it from the start, the roster is not that bad. Yep. It's going to get pretty bad whenever they trade everyone away, and there's no avoiding that. But they've exceeded every one of my expectations as well. Yep. Just straight up.
Yeah, everyone except for a certain somebody who we keep bringing back up in the news, which is one Barrett Hayden. But look, he has looked better the past couple of games. Yeah, the past couple of games.
Points, he had that goal. Look, I was so happy for him. Like, the boys were sitting there hyping him up because they knew. Like, that's the monkey off his back. He's been getting some points.
Really good looks, too.
I stand by. He's still been playing well defensively. I'm not going to sit there and say there aren't holes in the game, because obviously there is an issue, like you said, I'm pulling directly from you, with him kind of getting back to the defensive zone. He's not the fastest skater, but in his own zone, he is damn good. He's very smart, and he can pull off those shorthanded opportunities and those steals and those opportunities, the odd man rush, because he is that good. It's just he doesn't always live up to that. And I think if he was taken in the second round, nobody would care. Not a single person would be complaining about if he was taken in the second round.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things where is there some bias? Like, I like Barrett Hayden as a person, and I like what he does on the ice. I just, I have higher expectations to him, and I want to see him succeed. But also at the same time, I wouldn't be lying if I didn't say that, I called for Quinn Hughes at that draft, and I said that we should absolutely draft Quinn Hughes. You can ask anybody that was at that draft party. That's exactly who I put my money on, and I was right about that gamble. I still think that Quinn Hughes is a better player, obviously, than Barrett Hayden right now, and that is the one bummer point, I'll say.
One Quintinius Hughes?
Yes.
I have no idea why. Like, I feel like we're on the same wavelength, because I'll call Jack McBain and Jack Eichel Jackery. I feel like it's just you do the ridiculous thing of with someone's name. Like, I'll call Shane Doan Jonathan.
Yep.
Every now and again.
Just over punctuated, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, like, I had to have said it before. Philip Joseph Kessel. I kept calling him Phil Joe, and then one day I looked at him like, wait, his name's actually Joseph. I didn't know that. I was just calling him Phil Joe because, like, it sounded good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, every now and again, you're an idiot, but you happen to be correct in your idiocy.
Yep. There was some play I wanted to talk about. Oh, that's what it was. In the final game before Christmas, we did see Matias Maccelli go out of the lineup with an injury. I think it said an upper body injury, if my memory serves me.
Yep, upper body will not return.
And the interesting part of that game was that that Bear was running the 11-7 setup, so 7 D-man, 11 forwards. And because he dropped one of his forwards and went down to 10 forwards, Troy Stecher ended up moving up to the forward position and was playing wing as a defenseman playing wing, which was a really interesting thing to see.
Can I just step in and say this? As I love Bear, I think he's a great coach. I still stand by everything I've ever praised him for. I do not understand what the hell his obsession is with the 11-7, because the problem is if you go down one forward, you literally have to stretch yourself even thinner, and you're already stretching yourself thin because you don't have a full fourth line. So I think essentially just kind of having to run people out there, and we also have the league's worst habit of too many men on the ice. We have the most in the league. I don't like. Unless Bear sees how much better this team is than last year, and it's like, dog, if we're getting Bedard, I gotta do whatever I can to try to throw a wrench in that.
So I think the logic behind why he runs 11-7 is because I don't think he sees a dedicated minute eater on the back end. I don't think he sees that guy. He doesn't see a guy who's going to be playing 26 to 30 minutes a night. And that's why he runs the 7D, because he likes what he has on D, but they're all kind of the same. They all kind of fill like a similar role. Like Nemeth, Brown, and those guys are very like kind of all interchangeable. So I think why he's doing that is just because of that reason, if I were to guess. And then obviously having young forwards, allows you the flexibility of running more minutes on them because they're young enough to, withstand eating more minutes. Obviously, one less person means that everybody gains some minutes in some way or form. And that would be my guess of why he's doing it. Like you said, the too many men call is really bad. I heard his interview where he said something along the lines of like, it's not the way that, it's not the 11-7 when a guy literally jumps onto the ice when nobody made a line change. And he is true on some of those, but on other occasions, there's absolutely been too many men calls where it looked like people were confused and accidentally jumped on and then tried to jump back off. So is it people not voicing each other on the bench, well enough? Is it the coach, not giving the best call outs or whatever? I don't know. But the too many men's got to stop.
All I know is that with any of those positives you just mentioned, immediately look at the negatives. That is the too many men. That is you're burning through forwards more. That is the lack of line chemistry because you're constantly having to change. Even if, let's just say, Keller, Boyd, Schmaltz stays that exact same way. Maccelli, Bukestad, Krause, it's been a really good line. They stay untouched. You are still constantly changing who's on that third line. You're constantly changing if you're just going to have that third line center hop off, you bring the first line back out, and then have the third line center go back out with, let's say, the fourth line wingers. Like, you're constantly having to make that adjustment, and you really can't build chemistry that way. All it can do is kind of create confusion. And I'm a very simple man. You know this. I prefer simplicity.
I can attest. He is very simple.
Oh, what do you mean by that, Richie? Anyway,
no,
I'm a very simple man. I would very much prefer, even if it's predictable, having a more simple system, because it also means that if it's predictable, your men are not going to get confused because you're trying to get cute or because you're putting yourself you're essentially putting a bullet in your own knee and then saying, okay, well, now we just got to figure out how we're going to finish a soccer game real quick.
Yeah.
I'll just, taper up, and I'm like, dog, if you just didn't shoot yourself in the knee, you'd be fine.
I definitely agree with you there. Like, it's just, it makes no sense. And also, to finish up with my simple man thing, I'm going to say the reason why I say that is because you see a blue eyes white dragon and you can't resist. You only buy them blue eyes white dragons from his Yu-Gi-Oh addiction. That's what I mean. Yeah, there he is. He's
Kaiba sitting right here. It's literally, my wife put a picture of me and Savannah here. It's me and her at Westgate down here. She put a picture of her graduating for some reason up there. And then my blue eyes white dragon right over here. Damn it, it fell. Ah!
That's what happens.
Oh, no. Anyway.
I'm curious to see.
There's going to be some Digimon cards.
I'm curious to see what they're going to decide to do. I hope that Maccelli is not out for an extended period of time. But who do you see, if he is, who do you see coming up next in the line? Carcone, you think so?
You have to pick up two people, because I just think that with how they've been trying to balance the 11 forwards, and it's finally bit them right in the arse. I really almost wish they would have got blown out by the Kings to kind of really, show their rear end on that one, because it kind of shows the weaknesses of that system and how you're already straining everything. Everything needs to go perfectly for that to work.
Yeah.
They need to call up 2 players, and I'm like, look, Jan Unique apparently had a bad game. Okay, Daffan's been really good in Tucson. Tucson can't build consistency regardless. You know what? At this point, blow it up. Just let Tucson drift dead and have Carcone and Laurent Dauphin come up, so you can actually have players that can play NHL minutes. And Carcone's a guy that I think when you trade Richie, Carcone might be a guy you keep in your bottom 6 for the next few years. I think he's been good.
I think so. It just have to see how he does in the NHL. Ultimately, you would like to see him play some top 6 minutes with how well he's been scoring down there in the AHL, but the top 6 is kind of set on this team.
You can plug him in for Maccelli until he's back. Let's just say Maccelli's out for 1 month. Okay, so you have Carcone plug in the exact same spot, and then you just call up a 4th line, center, and then you have your 12 forwards, and you stop messing with it. But if he's only out for a couple of weeks, no, just give another person in the lineup that top 6 spot and bring up a bottom 6er. Maybe bring up Boko Amama, bring up someone that maybe bring up that giant that scored a goal for Tucson the other night that we got for the Timmins trade. Was it Douglas? Bring that monster up.
Yep. Yeah, that absolutely is another option as well.
And if he scores 5 assists, then we won the trade.
True. That's the other fun one was Timmins scoring, I think, 3 assists in 1 game on that Maple Leafs team, and it was better roll out the red carpet for the Norris for him. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's also like if you're going to Toronto, they have a very good lineup with those elite level players, at different positions, not just a couple that we have. If you go to that system and you can't produce, you aren't an NHLer. They've dragged up mediocrity that has then left and been mediocre, and their production's gone down. Because if you're playing on a team on the same ice as Michael Bunting, 20-goal scorer Michael Bunting, Auston Matthews, Jonathan Tavares, William Nylander, Mitchell Marner. Yeah, no, if you're skating on the same ice as those guys and you're not racking up some points, you're not worth the title of offensive.
Yep.
You're offensive, not offensive.
You're offensive. Like the way you say that.
I'm very original. I'm not, boring and dry at all. But no, so I just think that I'm just tired of those games. I also don't want it to become a habit where whenever the Coyotes are ready to compete, they're going right back to that 11-7. And I was talking to one individual at Mullett, and he brought up a couple things that he liked about it. And I'm like, sure, but any positives you could say about that system, there's 16 negatives. Any positives you can say about this, there's a 3 or 4 more negatives. And I'm like, sometimes the way the game has been played for 100 years simply works.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it is what it is, and ultimately, if it leads to more losses, then oh well. I guess that's the way it goes.
If you trade Vejmelka, Bukestad, Richie,
Ghost,
Chychrun, Ghost, you trade those 5 guys right now, you'll have all the losses in the world. All right, you take Nick Schmaltz out back and break his kneecaps, you'll get all the losses you want in the world. You tell Clayton Keller you're playing 4th line minutes, and if you shoot the puck, we're going to smack you across the face. You'll get all the losses you need.
Yep.
There's plenty of ways to get losses. It's just, it comes down to they're going to have to kind of force it because the team is simply too good as constructed. Not in the context of a cup contender. Not in the context of a playoff team, though if you add a couple of pieces, they are a fringe wild card team. Straight up, I'll stand by that. But they built it to be competitive night in and night out, and too many nights they are winning those games that they're being competitive in.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they 6 consecutive games that they've been tied going into the 3rd period.
Yep. something like that. And you know, they handed Boston one of their 4 regulation losses. Just saying.
Just saying. Terrible call and all, even though it wasn't. But, you know, horrid call and all. They still managed to beat Boston at home in the Mullett. All right? And whenever they beat Auston Matthews at home in the Mullett, it's going to be great. Too bad we couldn't beat Tage Thompson, but that's fine. Tage Thompson is... He'll be a Coyote soon. I'm just saying, Nick Schmaltz for Tage Thompson. Who says no?
Well, I know who says no, but do you want to throw out your little PSA onto the podcast about Auston Matthews that you put on Twitter?
Yes. So, Richie, you are more than welcome if you want to throw that at any point on the Desert Moon channel as well. You can right click it. Okay, it's fine. NFTs aren't that important anyway. But here's what I want. For when Auston Matthews comes home, I want they had it with Bergeron, the little crying face after he lost the cup. I want
that was Marchand.
Sorry, did I say the wrong name?
Yeah, you said Bergeron.
How the hell? I apologize. I said the incorrect name. I was thinking of Marchand. Anyway, blow his face up. Have him right there. Make it a college atmosphere. I want Austin come home signs. I want whatever the hell you could do to make it as blatantly we're recruiting this guy as possible in a college arena in front of national media. Everyone will watch that game. You know everyone's going to watch that game. Richie, I'll give you back the mic in a second. All right, let me finish. Okay. Everyone's going to be watching that game in Canada. Everyone's going to be staying up late in Eastern Canada watching that, like they did with the Montreal game. I was surprised no one was trying to point out some of the empty seats before the game started, but I guess they kind of realize that doesn't work. But everyone's going to be so angry if they see, like, people with, let's say, Auston Matthews Kachinas on. Let's say Auston Matthews signage. Let's say cheering for Auston Matthews if he scores that night to really welcome him home, and if the Coyotes manage to still beat Toronto. I am just saying that would be one of the funniest things, because then people that are professionals that had to travel to the Mullett from Toronto to cover this game will have to sit there and just put up with it for the evening. People that are watching it on TV that nationally broadcasted will have to sit there and to put up with it or turn their televisions off and realize that their prestigious organization is getting beat and or getting pilfered by a garbage franchise out here in Arizona. I am just saying, Coyotes fans, if I've ever asked for anything at all, it's this. Just piss off the Toronto fans and media while we have our first opportunity, because you never get a second chance at a first impression. Show them the old Mullett welcome, boys.
I'm going to say this real quick. If anyone has the idea I'm going to give this to you. So if you have the ability to make this post, you should absolutely do it. On Twitter, I've posted this quite often, this photo of Auston Matthews in the ASU jersey, and he's got the pitchfork next to Powers, the coach for ASU. You should absolutely blow that up onto a board and just put things that look good in the Mullett. And just have that photo, and just just throw it into the ether, just to piss off the Toronto media, because you know there absolutely will be there. Like I do suspect that Toronto game probably will have as much media attention as the first game, just because I know that those reporters are going to travel. They want to see it, right? Like, this is a disgrace.
Montreal reporters were all there too. Like, we saw it with Montreal. Those Canadian markets will travel just to watch the spectacle.
Yeah, it's an absolute disgrace on ice, but yet they're all going to absolutely travel to Arizona to make sure that they go watch a game at the Mullett. Huh? Interesting how that works.
Very interesting. Just saying. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying, if I am disgusted by, let's say, seal clubbing, I'm not going to travel to Canada to watch a bunch of people club seals. But apparently, it's a travesty to watch a game in the Mullett, but you gotta watch it.
Yep.
Look, I don't know.
Yep.
Anywho, so, that's my request, and I promise I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers asking for nudes. I just want Auston Matthews' face blown up on signs, and I want the mullet to be rocking. That's it. That's all I'll ever ask for.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you have to talk about?
Unless you want to just kind of talk about some Christmas stuff to end the episode to give the viewers something a little more wholesome that isn't just these guys are kind of idiots, eh?
Sure. So let's talk about presents. What did you get for your loved ones? Anything good?
Oh, so funny story. My wife, I sent her this. It was like an ad on Facebook, and it was like, oh, you know, my wife, love of my life, whatever, yada yada. It's like a necklace, and I sent it to her. And I was like, oh, this is pretty toxic. But she didn't listen to my commentary. She just read the thing. I was like, aw, because she ignores everything. And my commentary was, if you have the mindset you can't live without someone that's toxic and dependent, you have to want someone in your life, not need them. And you know, it creates a healthy dynamic. So I ended up, that paycheck, I had, you know, X budget. I had like $80 over that budget. So I bought that for her and some earrings. Those still haven't come in, by the way. But 3 days later, because she loves Christmas, the exact same thing, but it's a little more Grinch themed and it has, you know, little Grinch artwork on it.
Yeah.
I got it on sale. It's like $30 or something. I had to rush to the bank to get money in so I could do that. It's just after payday. I'm buying jerseys and crap. But that came in hella early, so she got that today. So that was my little, hey, I'm still waiting on $80 worth of jewelry to come in, and hopefully I didn't just get scammed.
You can never trust those ads, man. There's some cool stuff that I see in the ads, and then I'm like, do I want to risk it? Because I feel like my credit card information is going to get stolen if I put it into this website.
And like it's 50-50 because the cheaper one came in, but the more expensive one that I paid the $20 upcharge for the earrings, it shipped a week and a half earlier. Or like a week earlier, it still hasn't got here. Yep.
For myself, aside from the jerseys that, you know, my wife didn't get because, you know, they gave an oversized one, that was going to be one present. And then also, I ended up getting her, she likes a bag company called Kate Spade. Ended up finding one at the clearance store down next to Gila River. I forget what those malls are called. The strip malls down there. Ahwatukee?
Outlet malls?
Yeah, Ahwatukee Outlet. I don't remember. There's a clearance.
Is it right next to Gila River Arena or right next to the casino?
Next to the casino.
Oh, then I have no idea. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's the Ahwatukee Outlet malls. I don't know. But those ones down there, they have a little clearance center for Kate Spade, and so I ended up getting her a bag. And yeah,
I ended up I set aside $100 for savings this paycheck, but it's a fantasy football playoff, so I paid my dad's $50 entry. I'm like, here's my entry and your entry. Merry Christmas.
There you go.
He's hard to shop for. He doesn't need anything. I was gonna buy him a bottle of Jack Daniels or something, but I was too lazy to go to the store, and I don't really buy alcohol or drink much at all anymore. That's
the way my dad is. So my dad, he like just kind of lives on his own now, and he just like lives in his own little world where he just buys whatever he wants for himself, and he just you know, I'm gonna get personal here. My dad just you know, pays to talk to women online. That's all he does, and he enjoys it. And that's my dad in a nutshell. So for Christmas, I got him underwear and a T-shirt. So
listen, all you would have had to do was just buy him any Bad Dragon merchandise. That man would have been fine for the next week.
Yeah. He spends his money as he pleases, and you know what? That's all right. He's gotten to the age. I think he's like 60 something. So he's up there, and he's at the do whatever you want phase, right? Or whatnot. I don't know what the saying is.
Like a 60-year-old.
Yeah.
Like my paychecks are legit. I've already said this one more time. I'll repeat it. Structured like this: X amount for gas, X amount for bills. Those immediately come out. And then X amount for savings now that I'm trying to be financially responsible. Everything that is not that, or a surprise thing that comes up, like I got to get my windshield replaced, so I had to pull money out this paycheck, I blow that jerseys, trading cards, video games, whatever the hell to make me pretend I'm happy for the next 2 weeks. That's what I wasted on. And I'm still living like a single man in my damn near 30s because I'm a real boy. I don't want to grow up yet, damn it. But like it's probably hard to shop for people like me and your dad then because like I buy myself stuff literally every 2 weeks.
Yep. For me, I made it easy. I just made an Amazon list of all the tools and shit that I want. And I'm like, here, everybody, just buy whatever. Like that way, because like I feel like it's hard. Like I know that people need like underwear and like clothing and stuff like that. Like when you get old, you're like, yay, clothing. I haven't had this in 2 years. But like, you know, I do want like people to feel like they're buying shit that is going to be useful. And so that's why I just made like an Amazon like wish list. I'm just like, buy whatever. There you go. That's the list.
Dude, my Christmas was pretty good so far. It's like my dad got me a gift card for my wife and I to split $100. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna buy video games I want. I have $20 in cash. I'll just give you whatever I go over. So I got Pokemon Scarlet and Dragon Age 2 because I was watching a video on it recently and it made me kind of want to play it. My mother-in-law keeps buying me these Sonic the Hedgehog Christmas ornaments for some reason. And like the little Genesis one and the movie Sonic one are cool. I didn't really care for the Eggman one, but it is the thought that counts. Yeah. But I also, you know, she wrapped up the Sonic Frontiers. I didn't know it like the Steelbook was a separate thing, so she wrapped it twice. That was pretty cool. I got this Sonic like head pillow behind me. It's mostly Sonic the Hedgehog themed Christmas right now. And then last night at the arena, because they were selling off, I got a game authentic white Adidas for the Coyotes for $80 and a Jacob Chikrin bobblehead. And nice. My boss also gave me a gift card to the Sun Devils team store. I got a new Sun Devils hat and an ASU hockey penne. I literally like couldn't have asked for anything more. I'm like, dude, I'm chill. I am set. I got this nice little office chair for my mother-in-law too. The trade-off was I get Sonic Frontier. She pays off that pre-order so I can get the Steelbook. I wait on this. She decided to give it to me today anyway. So my back, when I'm doing podcasts, doesn't have to literally be on fire. Because, give me 1 second. I need to show what I've been sitting on for the last, 3-4 months.
Sure. So I'll fill the dead air here. I get the same thing happen to me with my... Oh, okay,
no
he's showing... Okay, wow.
I leaned back on and it popped off, so it's just...
Okay, so people who are listening to this audibly, we just saw what looked like a chair with no back and one of the armrests that were just completely broken. So he was just sitting on a stool. He was essentially just sitting on a wheelie stool.
For hours at a time, making videos, editing, recording, whatever.
Yeah, that's not very good. That's not conducive to productivity work. So I could see why that was
great now.
I could see why that was gotten rid of. So my question is, with the no back, did at one point it just snap when you were sitting back?
Yeah, so I would always roll it over here to play video games, and I kept leaning back on it, and luckily I'm losing weight now, but I am a fat person. I am very much probably a little obese, ooh-woo, a little bit. And, I went back, snapped in half. I ended up having to, cut it off because I forgot where the hell the Allen went to just take the bolts out. And then I was reaching over to my side one day, and the arm just snapped on me, and I fell off of it. And I'm like, well... Jeez,
it's a danger. You're going to impale yourself on that thing.
I'm like, I guess my time has come.
Jesus, take the wheel.
I am tied, sir. Please.
But what I was saying before you came back was I completely understand what you're coming with, in-laws and stuff like that. Like, I always just get Coyotes merch on Christmas. They're just like, you like hockey? Here's your 7th beanie. You like it? And I'm like, okay, well, I do like it, and I will wear it.
I'll find a use for it. I hate most of my wife's family, except for my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law. He's literally just my brother. We play card games. He got me into Pokemon. I got him into Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Magic, Flesh and Blood. We're doing all the card games, boys. But our first Christmas together, her aunt got me socks, and as much as I literally despise that woman, If there was the little, the little train, right, that it's either the train's coming towards her, I can avoid it, I would just walk away, sit down, and watch the show. That's how much I dislike this woman. She got me socks, and I'm still so ridiculously appreciative I'm still wearing those socks, because I don't like having to buy my own socks. I am overly grateful to a person I despise because of socks. Like, when you're an adult, you can hate someone. If they give you socks, you will tolerate them. You will literally tolerate that person because, oh my god, you got me socks, you got me underwear, I don't have to go spend my money on it.
All right, well, we filled enough dead air to make it pretty close to 1 hour mark. So I say we call it there with our 10 minutes of talking about Christmas gifts, and
Wait,
end off.
I think I forgot what you said you got this year, or do you not know yet? Because I celebrate on
Easter. I don't know yet. So we don't open till Christmas. So I don't know until tomorrow, but hopefully it's some fun stuff. Who knows? I don't know.
My gift to Richie was I'm finally the one editing the clips, and I've edited one clip and played Fallout 3 for a week. So as you can tell, I'm a very generous co-host. I'm a very generous friend. And one day when Richie ends the podcast and we stop making episodes, you can thank my dumbass.
I think that's what the kids call based.
Based. That's what the kids call. Anyway, happy holidays. Happy Howlidays.
Howlidays.
Also, PSA, always look at Marshalls. Like a year and a half ago, my wife and I found these ugly sweaters for $20. After any time, just one last little PSA for you guys before we head off. Anytime you want like some Coyotes merch that isn't going to be that popular, just wait 6 to 12 months. Look at Ross, look at Marshalls, especially Marshalls. They will have it. Like the hats are $10, where they should be like this. I think it was like $10, or I might have bought this separately. I don't remember. $20 for this. They normally charge like $60. Like it's not worth that, but $20, hell yeah, I'll wear it once a year for $20.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed it and you made it to this point, leave a comment. Say Happy Holidays in the comments. Anyways, thank you so much. Leave a like, a follow, a subscription on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And we will see you with episode 41 next week.